What's the first thought when it comes to military right now? In your head, if you were just Joe Blow, and I said, "Hey,
What's the
join the
first thing
military."
people think of when they think about the military? When they think
Mhm.
about joining the military,
The military.
or going to war.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, this day and age with our kids, they don't want to. They don't want to do that stuff. They don't want any part of it. Nothing to do with politics or any of that stuff. Think about all the kids now that join. They grew up after September 11th, and all they've seen on TV is war. Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria,
Mm-hmm.
Africa. I think it's I think the marketing is not where it should be at. I'm again, the commercials are going to get people, yes, but to commit them to actually go do it, I think it's I think about 11 million they paid them. If you put $11 million back into your recruiting stations, give them more stuff and more assets to go recruit in the neighborhoods, I think that's better spent versus a TV ad, because TV ads get you shit. Like I at least in the Army, I don't know what the Air Force or any other branches did, but we used to get these LRLs. They were called lead refinement lists. That was somebody that went on a website, clicked like an ad or something like that, and it was just a thing. And 98% were like, no, I just clicked it to get the free thing or the product or just see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I never got an LRL that like an internet leader and like that I actually put in the Army. It was the people I met face to face, could talk to them, and again, it's targeted. Like I'm not going after people who have where I was at. I went after people that had jobs because I was in a very low income, very small town. But you think about your big cities, most people have really good jobs. So that's not your market. Your market is the younger kids who coming out of school or trying to pay college back, shit like that. So I don't know. That's just my opinion, man. Like uh, the big wigs are, again, they're so high up in rank. They're so away from what reality is. Same thing as politicians, man. Like they're so far away from that. They don't really realize. And the people they have around them are yes men or yes women to everything. They don't tell them like the truth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why they put them in that position.
Mm. Yeah, because most of them at that level don't want to lose rank, so they're going to say yes to everything. They're not, they're political. That's the way the military is right now. A lot of them are super political. They don't do what's right. They do what's going to save their ass and what's going to look right,
Yep.
versus what's right for the people. At least I'm still in, so that's for and I'm a senior, so my seniors to me, that's definitely the way it is. Once I'm retired, I could tell you a couple more stories that just happened last couple weeks, but I'll have to wait or off camera and tell you. But uh, that's the way it is, man. They're all looking for the next position. And this is a little different, obviously. Once you're E9, you can't go up higher, but a lot of them still are political because they want to keep sucking the Army tit, and a lot of them like the power because you do get a lot of power and a lot of prestige with it, and when you go to places, oh, hey, sorry, Major, but I don't know. It's money not well spent versus like the Air Force. The Air Force, I'd say the best who advertising is Air Force and the Army or Marine Corps. Air Force aim high. That was like the best shit ever. The jets, all the cool Air Force shit. At least from my point of view, you probably have a different point of view. And the Marines, their uniform and hey, this is our job. This is what we do, and they stuck to it. You know, Army goes back and forth. We're be all you can be. Then we're Army of One. Then we're no one was better than me, and all that shit. It's like, come on, man. Get something to stick with it, man. And just build upon it, but don't change your values and shit. Which at least in the Army right now, they are. And again, with today's day and age, with our kids and stuff, they don't want to go to war, and they've seen what we've done the last 20 years, and they see what's going on in the world right now. I mean, especially what's going on right now. You have Israel killed the Hamas leader in Iran. They put a bomb in his house 2 months ago and just killed him 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And Iran's, hey, we're going to attack Israel. And NATO saying, don't do it. We're going to do this. So again, it's a lot of talk, but the average, civilian watching this is like, I don't want my kid being in that, or I don't want to be part of that. And that was the same thing in the surge of Iraq when I was a recruiter. I deployed already, came back on recruiting, and kids didn't want to go, and the parents didn't want them to go. I don't want my kid to go die. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, at least that's my thoughts on it,
That's
man.
Yeah, that's probably more prevalent in the Army than the Air Force. I, I
Probably, yeah.
I wasn't an Air Force recruiter, but I can imagine. I can imagine it's not easy, but easier to convince parents that their kid's just going to be, stateside supporting the war from here,
Yeah.
or at a forward, at overseas, but at a safe location away from the war,
Yeah.
um, that kind of stuff. Which for the most part was true, but I mean,
Well, let's say like even y'all have Air National Guard. We have Army National Guard, and right now a lot of the Guard members are getting activated to go do the border stuff. And it's like that's not what I signed up for, man. I signed up to protect my state, or deploy. And I think that's a big turnoff to a lot of people, that want to join. And I don't know how the Air Force is, but at least in the Army, a lot of the senior leadership is retiring. So like they're right now, this last list that we had, I won't say which one, they're picking people to go to the school that have no trying to think of the word to say,
fire.
qualifications nor experience to go. But they're so short. The Army's like, hey, we have to promote these people because we have to get this, this amount, Um, we
Yeah,
have got,
that's part of the game. Unfortunately, if
yeah,
you play with what you were dealt, and if we're not bringing in any more recruits because we just gave the Rock 11 million and he ain't helping us out, what we gonna do?
yeah. But I also think there's something to be said with, I wouldn't say your recruitment is always going to be a struggle for sure, but I would say like, I think the military should look at keeping their own in and why they're doing such a bad job at that right now, you know,
Yeah,
and what they're doing wrong and why people are not wanting to stay in and wanting to leave. And, because again, we both are products of over 20 years in the military. It's got a lot of benefits to it. It's got downsides to it, but it's got a lot of benefits to it. And why are they not able to get those people to stay in for the long term versus just the short term, which you mentioned before, it's a gig to gig thing, which I totally think that's totally true. Like you said before, kids now think
to
it's a
some
gig.
people it's a gig. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I've heard it said, by junior NCOs, like, hey, this is a cool gig, and
Yeah.
I just like look at them like, dude, you're a parachute rigger. A gig is like working at Mickey D's.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
gig. Like, no offense to McDonald's employees or anybody who works fast food, but that's a gig. You can step away from that and go pick up another fast food spot. Like,
Absolutely.
they're not going to blink. You know what I'm saying? You can't have a bad day when you pack and shoots.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be just a gig. So to hear that was like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they wonder why we lose the proficiency in the things we do is because of how we're recruiting, of what we're allowing in to the service just to fill numbers, what we're doing or what we're not doing to keep the proficiency that we do have. The senior folks who are senior only because they've been through the shit and they know what the hell they're doing, regardless of their age. They're not trying to keep those folks in. They're just playing that roulette game because unfortunately, well, fortunately for the services, there's always going to be humans. We're always going to have people just pipe through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until they say no, enough is enough, right? Until they go, hey, we're doing this for all the wrong reasons. We're supposed to be defending our nation, not starting political wars. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Do you think the training um has fallen off a lot and is not as good as it should be, in your opinion, from your standpoint?
The training's there. It's just not being provided the right way. Yeah, it's not
You
being.
think the delivery is bad?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I mean, the like I said, the proficiency that we had, and this isn't every career field or every service, but from what I saw, the proficiency we had wasn't adequate to do the job. But
Hmm.
that was okay because they're willing to sacrifice certain things
Hmm.
to check these boxes, right?
Yeah.
They want planes in the air,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
At what cost, right? This regulation says we're going to do this, we're going to cut this corner, and that corner that they cut was reasonable because it was the commander's, it was his decision.
Yeah.
So it was reasonable at the time, but 5 years later, you look back and you're like, that was a terrible idea. Why did we do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
We grounded the fleet for what exactly? Like for what exactly? And it all boiled down to training. We lost proficiency, all the wrong people in all the wrong positions. You know, you had guys coming off of recruiting school that were recruiting for 8 years and brought back to an operational unit that wasn't done correctly. You know, all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff was done wrong, that could have been avoided. But you know, it all boils down to what they're willing to sacrifice to get the job done.
No, I agree totally, man. There's a lot of shortcuts that the old days would never happen, and now they're, yeah, it's okay. Like, no, man, like that's wrong, And I mean, by no, don't get it fooled. I mean, like you have to go in the gray area sometimes, but sometimes, man, it's like, no, dude, like this is like something that's gonna save our lives or our training and shit, And when I say gray area, I mean like at least in my MOS, I don't have a paper signed by the big boss saying y'all are certified to shoot, but I've certified y'all. I just don't have the paper signed by the boss. The old days, you never shoot. And it's like, no, man, like that guy's certified. Literally, it's just a signature on a piece of paper. The guy saying, yep, he's certified. Hey, the guy that certifies him, the master gunner, hey, he's certified. They're good to shoot. Now, you don't even have that. Hey, the other guy watched him. So he told the guy that certifies him, hey, they're good. Like, no, man, like it's kind of,
So
jacked up.
you don't think that was part of the problem, though? Allowing it to go that first step to where it's like, we don't have to follow the reg. We'll just let the first senior guy authorize.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think that's
Yeah.
it started small and now it's much bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
what I'm saying back in the day, that would never happen. Heck, hey,
Mhm.
you're not doing anything till the boss signs it. Once the boss signs it, you're good. If you had to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, that's the way it was. But now it's gradually, obviously not just like from there to here, but gradually. Oh, he didn't sign yet, but I said you're good, so go ahead and shoot. Like, no, man, like it has to be verified. So in case something happens, we're good. The book's good. But I think it's kind of like you said, like it little by little kind of builds up, and
Yep.
stuff kind of falls off. Obviously doctrine's going to change and tactics are going to change, but your basics of certifying are the same. They don't change, man. Like there's no change in that shit. Like I remember in Afghanistan, I wanted new gunners. My master gunner flew out to my base, my little tiny cop, to certify 2 more guys to shoot. I could have shot with them if I wanted, but God forbid something happened. The first thing that happened, hey, that guy's not certified. And so, like you said, like I definitely like they just let little stuff slide, and it just gets worse. Yeah. So
Speaking of let